Hey guys, this is going to be my first take at doing a whole lesson on the computer. I bought a new app, so it's supposed to help me give me a longer time. So today we're talking about in and out boxes. This is just a paper packet of what you guys have on the computer. And so we're talking about function machines and rules. So yesterday you completed your in and out boxes on this side, and it was simply addition and subtraction. So today we're going to start talking about what happens in an in and out box. Okay. So what we have here is we have a box. And over here it says in. So 7 goes in, and we want to know what comes out based on the rule. Well, if I look here, it says rule is add 6. So I'm going to put plus 6 here in my box. So I know that 7 plus 6 is 13. So 13 would go in my first box. Now the next one says 9. Well, I know that 9 and my rule is plus 6. So 9 plus 6 is 15. So that's going to go in my next box. My other box here has 14, and we know it's plus 6. So 14 plus 6 is 20. And then we have this last box that says 21, but we don't know what we started with. And that's what it's asking here is what do we start with? So we want to know here. Well, it's the same thing. 21 plus 6 going this way. So 21, no, that's not correct. Not 21 plus 6. We already added 6. So if we've already added 6 to 20 to get to 21, then in this case here, I take 21 minus 6. And when I do 21 minus 6, I say 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. So 15 goes here. And that goes over here on the left side, the last side on my in box. So I have 15 plus 6 equals 21. So this way, when we're going from top to bottom, we're going to do what the rule says and add 6. From top to bottom, do what the rule says and add 6. Up here, we were going from the bottom to the top, and so we have to do the opposite of the rule, and so we subtracted 6. Let's take a look at this next one. Okay, so when we have our boxes, they're just in boxes, but we can make those boxes any different size and shape. So in my box, and I'm just going to draw that here, we have 2, 6, 7, and then we don't know. Over here we have 4, 12, don't know, and 18. This side is in, this side is out. So it's the same thing as drawing a box over here. I put in 2 into my box, and bloop, 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 and 4 comes out. Well, I need to know, what did I do to make this turn into this? Okay, well, if I did 2, well, I know that 2 plus 2 is 4. So I need to see if that is correct. And the rule has to be the same for every single one of these. So if I say that my rule is plus 2, then I have to be able to do that to all of them. So if I have my next box that says 6 and out comes 12, if I add 2, is 6 plus 2 12? It is not. 6 plus 2 is actually 8. Well, then my answer must be wrong. So I have to go back to square one and figure out, well, what else could I do to 2 to get 4? Could I subtract 2 minus something equals 4? No. Could I multiply 2 times something equals 4? I can. Times. What if I try times 2? 2 times 2 equals 4. Well, let's see if we do the same thing over here. 6 times 2, it does, that works. Let's see if it works again. So we have our box here, and we have our 7, and we have to do times 2, and now we need to know what goes into this box. So 7 times 2 is what? It is 14. Very good. So when we go down in this direction, we're going to use our rule. Now we have one more over here. Here's my function machine. Here's my box. And I know what I ended out with, but I don't know what I started with. And we remember that when we're doing the rule and we have the bottom number and we have to go the other direction, then we're going to have to do the opposite. What is the opposite of multiplication? Division. So in this case, we would say 18 divided by 2. So if I put divided in here, then I come up with 9. Would that make my answer correct? Let's see. If I know that my rule, and see where I have my rule down here, rule is times 2. 9 times 2 does equal out to 18. So in this case, it is a multiplication problem. So when you're working through an in and out box, you have to ask yourself, what did we do to the numbers on the left to get the numbers on the right? It could be addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. This is a tougher group because we've already learned all of those in school so far. So whatever I do, I have to do the same thing to each one. 2, I can't say, well, this one is plus 2, and this one is plus 8, and this one is plus 7. We can't do that. It has to be the same thing. The rule is whatever I did to this one, I have to do to every single one. It's the rule. Okay? So here I say 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times 2 is 12. 7 times 2 is 14. 9 times 2 is 18. That rule works for the entire box. If you decide on a rule, if it's subtraction, that rule has to work for every single thing in the box. All right, let's try another one on this page. Okay, we are going down to, we have A, B, C, D, and E. We're going to do this E one, okay? E. So my input box, it's just laying over on its side. It's the same thing. This is my in, this is my out. So I have my boxes here. I put in 6 and I get out 5. Okay, I put 6 into my magic box. Bloop, 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 boop. 5 pops out. Well, can I add something to go from 6 to 5? No. Can I subtract something to go from 6 to 5? Yes. Well, how many would I subtract? 6 minus 1 equals 5. So I'm thinking that my rule, excuse me, is minus 1. Let's see if that same rule works for everything in our box. If I put 9 into my box and my rule is minus 1, I get out what? 8. Is that correct? 9 minus 1 is 8. Yes, it is. That is correct. And then when I'm going down in this direction, from top to bottom, I go with the rule. In this case, we have 13, and we're going in the opposite direction. I'm going to go up because I need to know what did we start with. And when we go the opposite direction, we have to do the opposite. So instead of minus 1, we're going to add 1. So 13 plus 1 is 14. So that when I apply the rule, 14 minus 1 equals 13, we are still correct. Over here, we have 19. We want to know what we put into the box to get 19 out of the box. And since we're going in the opposite direction, we're trying to find what's at the top, we do the opposite of the rule. The rule is minus 1. So we're going to add 1 to get to this one. 19 plus 1 is 20. Let's see if our rule follows. 20 minus 1 equals 19. Is that correct? That is correct. So our rule is minus 1, and we can fill in our box with 14 and 20 up here at the top. When you're completing this page, you will be using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So you need to pay close attention to what you need to do. if I'm starting at the top. And feel free to get out a piece of paper and draw the boxes just like this. I think this is the most helpful way. This is how I would do it if I was working these out on my own. I think that you guys should do the same thing. So down here, it also says Sam made up a new game, so you have to pay attention. This one's filled in. You have questions. When 4 goals are scored, how many points are earned? So up here, it says the number of goals and the total points. So you have to figure out what his rule is and then do the math for 4 and answer the questions. And then this one down here, it says Leroy thinks. You can do that or not. I'm not going to grade that part. Today, you are also completing the input and output tables for the next side. So go to this slide and take a look. This is the same thing that we have been working on. It just has bigger numbers, okay? I am going to give you a hint on this page. It is only addition and subtraction. Only addition and subtraction. No multiplication or division on this page, okay? So let's take a look at our input and output table. I put in 23 and I get out 47, 34, 45, 70. And down here it tells us what our rule is. And our rule is adding 24. So I have my box here. I put in 23. I add 24. And out comes 47. And I can do the addition to decide 3 plus 4 is 7. 2 plus 2 is 4. This has already been filled in for us on our page. So I have to do the same thing to 34. I'm going to put in 34. And I want to know what is going to come out. Here's my 34. My box of boop, 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 doo, doo, doo. Something has to pop out over here. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 3 plus 2 is 5. So when I put 34 in, I get out 58. So I'm going to fill in 58 here. Okay? The same thing for 45. $45 goes into my box. I add 24 to it. Some magic happens. Boop, 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 boop. And something plops out over here. 4 plus 5 is 9. 4 plus 2 is 6. So when I put 45 in, I get out 69. So I'm going to put that down here. Now, just as the other pages, when we're working from top to bottom, we follow the rule exactly. When we put something in, we add this and we get this out. However, on this last one, we already know what we got out. We're getting 70 out of the situation, and I want to know what goes here. Well, if I add 24, if I just say it's the same rule, then that means that I had 0 plus 4 is 4, 7 plus 2 is 9. Is 94 plus 24 only 70? No. We have to change something in order to find the output over here. And since we're going from the bottom to the top, we know what we got out. We know we did something to the number 24, and we need to know what we started with. Our rule was add 24. So since we're going the opposite direction, we need to do the opposite thing and do subtract 24. So we do 70 minus 24. Is there more on the top or more on the floor? There's more on the top. There's more on the floor. So we have to go next door and borrow 10 more. 7 becomes 6. 0 becomes 1. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. So our answer is 46. We can check our work. Let's just make sure that we're not making a mistake. Let's do the rule. 46 plus 24, because that's our rule here. 6 plus 4 is 10. 4 plus 1 is 5. Plus 2 is 7. 70 is what we started with. So our answer is correctly 46. Okay? It is just a little bit more work, but it's not too bad. So on your input table, you have to finish this little guy here. It tells you that the rule is subtract 18. Over here, it is not telling you the rule. You have to figure out what to do to each of these to get the rules. You have to finish filling this in and write your rule on here. It does say, now try this on a separate sheet of paper. You do not have to do that. Just disregard that bottom part there, okay? You need to have all 3 of these slides completed by the end of Thursday and click turn in. I will be grading that all at one time. So turn that in at the end of Thursday for your grade, okay? Let me know how you guys are doing. If you need any help, give me a call. Thanks, guys.